Hey, Shalom. I like to give all praises, glory, and honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. I like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, salutations, and blessings to the elect who firmly believe on Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Now, the title of this lesson is going to be Do What the Lord Commanded and You Won't Worry. Do what the Lord commanded and you won't worry. Because, there's a saying, people are only scared to die if they're not living right, and as far as the objective of this lesson, as far as pertaining to the title of this lesson, do what the Lord commanded and you won't have to worry. As long as we continuously do what the Lord commanded of us to do, we're not going to worry when all hell breaks loose in the society. We're not going to worry even if we have to be a martyr for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Why? Because we did everything that the Lord told us to do to the best of our ability. Not only that, we did it in sincerity and in truth. That's what this thing is all about. That's what this faith of ours is all about. So you see a lot of guys that's disobedient to parents. You got a lot of guys that's not maintaining the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability. When all hell breaks loose in the society, their conscience is going to condemn them. Their conscience is going to condemn them. Matter of fact, let me start with that in the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, right? Bring that on out. It's the spirit calling. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 14. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, "Blessed is the man that have not slipped with his mouth, and is not pricked with the multitude of sins. Blessed is he whose conscience hath not condemned him, and who was not fallen from his hope in the Lord." So a lot of people's conscience are going to condemn them in these latter days. Why? Because they didn't hold on to the faith. They weren't instant in season and out of season. They didn't rehearse the righteous acts as far as taking hold of the Passover, taking hold of the Purim, taking hold of the Feast of Weeks, the Feast of Tabernacles, so on and so forth. Not only that, acknowledging these holy days, rehearsing the Shabbat to the best of their ability, So what? More importantly, rebuking, reproving, condemning with all long suffering. Now, we all go off on the Shabbat. You know what I'm saying? On certain days that it do come in, we're not perfect. Just like the Apostle Paul said, the things I don't want to do, I do. And the things I do, I don't want to do, roughly paraphrasing, because we are subject unto sin. But the point is to strive for righteousness, strive for perfection, to the best of our ability, but it says, blessed is he whose conscience have not condemned him and who is not fallen from his hope in the Lord. Those individuals who once took hold of the plow and took their hand off, well, their hope has fallen from the Lord. They no longer believed in this thing. First and foremost, they never believed, because if they have believed, they would have continued. They were never with the brotherhood. They were never with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai if they take hold of the plow and then fall out. So you don't want to be likened to those individuals whose conscience condemns them, man. When your conscience condemn you, that's ultimately the spirit of the Lord condemn you, because he's the father of all spirits. Your conscience is your spirit. So going back to the book of Psalm, chapter 34, verse 7, it says, "The angel of Yahweh encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them." Because if you fear the Lord, you're going to do the things that he commanded you to do. We're going to do the things that he commanded us to do. And that's what? Following his laws, statutes, and commandments. Essentially that's love. Love is an action. And the scriptures speak upon, if you take hold of my commandments, that shows proof that you love them. One of the commandments is to also feed the sheep, feed the flock, feed the lambs. So if you're not doing that, ultimately you're not showcasing the fear that you have for the Lord, nor the love that you claim you have for the Lord. And once you don't do the things that the Lord, commanded you to do, that's when the protection is not round about you. The protection is not going to be round about you. Because recently a situation happened to me. and boy, do I fear. Boy, do I fear. And it was the spirit, the brother from LA, behold, I come quickly. He just did a lesson, you know, right after an incident happened with me. I got the notification from that brother's video on my phone, and I watched it later as I got home, and he pretty much said in the Hebrew, and he also translated, in the English, interpreted in the English as far as, he prayed that the Lord put the fear on brothers. You know what I'm saying? And I guess he did the video before I got caught up in a certain situation. Hey, and the fear is upon me. I have understanding on why that situation may have happened, but it brings fear upon me. It brings fear. So we all have to be in pocket with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. If you are out of pocket with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua and his brotherhood, look, the Lord could take your ass out, man. So we gotta fear above all things, man. We gotta fear. So it says the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. So if we do the things that the Lord commands us to do, he's going to have his holy angels keep charge of us. They're going to protect us. Even in situations to where you feel like, damn, what's going to happen? The Lord always provides that hedge, right about his men, because there are examples within the scriptures. You got a certain individual by the name of Saul, in which he didn't fulfill, the Lord's commandment. I believe he spared, one of the enemies, in which the Lord told him to kill everything, and that's when the Lord stripped the kingdom from King Saul and gave it to David, gave it to King David. So Saul was looking for answers. Saul was looking for answers from Samuel. So he actually sought to necromancy to call his spirit. So essentially, what's that tell us? That Saul was worrying. So let me start. This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 28, verse 10. It says, matter of fact, let me start at verse 7. It says, matter of fact, let me start at verse 5. It says, and when Saul saw the host of the Philistines, he was afraid, and his heart greatly trembled. And when Saul inquired of Yahweh, Yahweh answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by Urim, nor by prophets. So he wasn't receiving answers, man. The Lord wasn't dealing with him, And when you feel that disconnect from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, the first thing you got to do is pray. The first thing you got to do is pray, because, hey, sometimes we in this hell, we in this flesh, sometimes you may feel disconnected, due to the tribulation you may be going through, or certain ideas and lessons aren't coming to you. You feel disconnected from your power, so the first thing you got to do is pray, man, and fast if need be. So it says, verse 7, it says, then says Saul unto his servant, seek me a woman that hath a familiar spirit, that I may go to her and inquire of her. And his servant said to him, behold, there is a woman that hath a familiar spirit at Endor. A familiar spirit means, a woman that's into like witchcraft, so to speak, that's into the, the spiritual realm, that can call spirits, right? And it says, and Saul disguised himself and put on other raiment. And he went and 2 men with him, and they came to the woman by night. And he said, I pray thee, divine unto me by the familiar spirit, and bring me him up, whom I shall name unto thee. Not only that, but Saul, he pretty much outlawed anybody doing witchcraft at that time, so to speak, right? And this shows the hypocrisy within Saul, and the Lord put that reprobate spirit upon him because he wasn't dealing with him no more. And that goes to show that we get our answers and our visions from the right hand side of the Heavenly Father. The wicked gets it from the vice of necromancy and witchcraft. It says, and the woman said unto him, behold, thou knowest what Saul hath done, how he hath cut off all those that have familiar spirits, and the wizards out of the land. Wherefore then layest thou a snare for my life to cause me to die? And Saul swore to her by the Lord. That's another account where he went off. You're not supposed to swear on anything above in the heavens, on the earth, or under the earth. And it says, and Saul swore to her by the Lord, saying, as the Lord liveth, there shall no punish happen to thee for this thing. Then said the woman, whom shall I bring up unto thee? And he said, bring me up Samuel, because that's the prophet that he was dealing with. But Samuel had passed on by this time. And it says, and the woman saw Samuel, she cried with a loud voice. And the woman spake to Saul, saying, why hast thou deceived me? For thou art Saul. And the king said unto her, be not afraid, for what sawest thou? And the woman said unto Saul, I saw gods ascending out of the earth. And he said unto her, what form is he of? And she said, an old man cometh up, and he is covered with a mantle. And Saul perceived that it was Samuel. And he stooped with his face to the ground and bowed himself. And Samuel said to Saul, why hast thou disquieted me to bring me up? And Saul answered, I am sore distressed. He was stressed out. And that's what happens when you unplug from this truth, man. You become stressed out, man. It says, for the Philistines make war against me, and the Most High is departed from me, and answereth me no more, neither by prophets nor by dreams. And that would make one worrisome, because look, if you really in this truth and you really in the spirit, you feel forces coming up against you, man. You feel those forces coming up against you. If you don't have the hedge of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, with you, them forces will take you over, man. So that's why it's best you do what the Lord commands you to do. Don't even pop your woman. You know what I'm saying? When she's on her menstrual. You know what I'm saying? When she's on a menstrual, on a Shabbat and things of that nature, don't pop your woman. That's a part of the commandments too. You got to beware. I remember brothers did a lesson. I think brothers called it beware. Oh yeah, beware of temptation in the form of pleasure. Roughly paraphrasing, right? So it says, therefore I have called, and that's another thing too. Look, man, these women can deceive you. She could tell you that she's not on her menstrual and be on her menstrual, man. So you got to search things out, It says, therefore I have called thee, that thou mayest make known unto me what I shall do. It says, then said Samuel, wherefore then dost thou ask of me, seeing the Lord is departed from thee, and is become thine enemy? And the Lord have done to him as he spake by me. For the Lord hath rent the kingdom out of thy hand, and given it to thy neighbor, even to David. So Samuel's proclaiming the judgment upon Saul. It says, because thou obeyest not the voice of Yahweh, nor executest his fierce wrath upon Amalek. Because that's what he was supposed to do. The scriptures tell us for obedience is better than sacrifice. So as long as we obey the Lord, we have nothing to worry about. But of course, this guy, Samuel, he had everything to worry about. And it's telling us right here why. Because thou obeyest not the voice of Yahweh, nor executest his fierce wrath upon Amalek, which are these Edomites. The worst of Edom at that. Therefore have Yahweh done this thing unto thee this day. Moreover, the Lord will also deliver Israel with thee into the hand of the Philistines, and tomorrow shalt thou and thy sons be with me. The Lord also shall deliver the host of Israel into the hand of the Philistines. Then Saul fell straightway all along on the earth, and was sore afraid, because of the words of Samuel. And there was no strength in him, for he had eaten no bread all the day, nor all the night. And the woman came unto Saul, and saw that he was sore troubled, and said unto him, behold, thine handmaid have obeyed thy voice, and I have put my life in my hand, and I have hearkened unto thy words which thou spakest unto me. Therefore I pray thee, hearken thou also unto the voice of thine handmaid, and let me set a morsel of bread before thee, and eat, that thou mayest have strength when thou goest on thy way. But he refused and said, I will not eat. But his servants together with the woman compelled him, and he hearkened unto their voice. So he arose from the earth and sat upon the bed. And the woman had a fat calf in the house, and she hasted and killed it, and took flour, and netted it, and baked unleavened bread thereof. And she brought it before Saul and before his servants, and they did eat. Then they rose up, and went away that night. You know, so that was a case, an example of an individual worrying because they didn't obey the commandment of the Lord. Now let's get an apostle who was confident, in that day, you know. In fact, I think it's 2 Timothy 4. Yeah, this is the apostle Paul. Yahushua, he's also a good example, because he said it was before he gave up the spirit, he said it is finished, meaning he was confident that Yahweh was going to receive him, but this is 2 Timothy chapter 4. I'm going to start at verse 6. It says, "For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand." So the apostle Paul was confident, man. He was ready to be offered up. He was ready to go head on with his sacrifice. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he got his head chopped off, if I'm not mistaken, in the history. It says, "I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Henceforth, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness." Why is that? Because he did what the Lord commanded him to do. One of his statements was, "Be ye followers of me as I am of Yahushua HaMashiach." So it says, "Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day." So what the Lord is going to bless brothers with crowns of righteousness, everlasting crowns, crowns that can't be touched. Crowns that can't be touched, man. All we got to do is what the Lord commanded of us to do. The Lord said, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." What's that? Doing the work, doing what's commanded of us. The hard part is being, overcoming the tribulation that comes with it. But as far as this knowledge and this work, that's the easy part. It says, "The righteous judge shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing. Do thy diligence to come shortly unto me." So what? Not only is Apostle Paul going to receive his crown, but the rest of the elect is going to receive the crown. Those who love doing this work, man. Those who love being in this faith. Those that persevere through tribulations. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai got crowns laid up for us, man. So it's about being in order. It's about being in pocket. It's about remaining faithful in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Close it out. Draw back. Hebrews, the 10th chapter. Yeah, this is Hebrews chapter 10, verse 38. It says, "Now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him." So the Lord is not going to have no pleasure in anybody who draws back, because now what are you doing? You're going contrary to his commandment. So the Lord's not going to have no pleasure in you. So what should you do when the Lord has no more pleasure in you? Worry. Worry. We have nothing to worry about as long as we're doing what the Lord required us to do. The Lord said, "Give diligence to make your calling and election sure." It says, verse 39, "But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul." And that perdition is what? Destruction. Because if you don't do what the Lord commanded you to do, destruction is waiting by your door. However, if you do what the Lord commands you to do, you got salvation ready to open up unto you. And all the beautiful things and the deities that the kingdom has to provide, man. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, unto the elect. Do what the Lord commanded, and you won't worry. Simple and plain. So with that, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, salutations, and blessings to the elect. Shalom.